What's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Welcome to another edition of Dangle Bet Celly presented by PointsBet. Chris Meaney here with you. You're watching live on our FTN YouTube page, also listening on iTunes and Spotify. There's the old man. There's the GOAT, Eric Young, at the Eric Young. EY in the house. A little bit of a promo here for the Leafs.
I don't know if I want to cover my face or scream into the sky. What a ride it's been so far. Who knows if the 69 goal scorer will play tonight? Maybe Mitch Marner and William Nylander get into a fist fight and they play on the same team. Oh, who knows? Who knows what will happen? I know you're still cheering for Pavel Zacha, which you've done all year. But I'm going to say this. Matthews, no Matthews, Nylander on the fourth line. I'm giving you an Eric Young 100% guaranteed sealed W for the Maple Leafs tonight. It will happen. They will win this game. This will go to 7. I'm not going to say anything about the series, but this team is too good to get pushed around by Charlie Coyle and the rest of these no-name clowns. It's insane.
Are they?
They are.
What's happening? This is another version of this roller coaster ride that you've been on for the past, you and every Leafs fan for the past few years. It's just another element to the craziness. This series is just surrounded by mystery with William Nylander. I don't even know, like, he was dealing with migraines or reportedly headaches. You know, Keefe doesn't want the media to speculate, but they won't say what's wrong with him. Nothing has been talked about. So, of course, the media is going to speculate, especially in Toronto. It's such a big hockey market and the ups and downs with this core over the last few years. So, he missed like no time over the last few years with an injury and then is just invisible for the first 3 games of the series. Then Auston Matthews, before game 4, you start to hear reports that he was, dealing with food poisoning throughout game 3, doesn't show up for the third period in game 4. Reports watching the broadcast talking about, again, dealing with food poisoning. The doctors, pulled him from the game. Didn't practice yesterday. I'm trying to find something on Auston Matthews here today if he's going to play. There's some rumors. Don't quote me. There's nothing. There's just people speculating that he's potentially dealing with a concussion. So this has just been, and then on top of it all is finally, I guess, a little bit of emotion with this squad halfway through game 4 between Matthews, Nylander, and Marner. And I caught it on the TNT broadcast. I think they were definitely showing it on that broadcast. And I think, on the Rogers one, they were talking a lot about it. Kevin BX laid into Marner and Biz also laid into Marner. And there was a moment, a sequence where Marner took a slash in front of the net and he he flopped. It was a love tap on the back of his legs and he flopped. And I think, I'm just speculating. And I think that's what really stirred the conversation. Reading lips, Nylander, just play hockey, stop crying, bro. This isn't junior hockey. I think he may have said that towards the end of the clip as well. Marner has a bit of a fit, throws his gloves. After the game, Keefe is asked about frustration, says he sees no frustration. I mean, are you not paying attention at all? Because there's clearly frustration on the squad. And then he was asked about lack of effort. And he says there's no effort. Guys are trying. And I get it. Guys are trying. It's a Stanley Cup playoffs. But I could see lack of effort from some of the stars, not including Matthews. The guy's played like he is the captain. He deserves the C. He's eventually going to be the captain. He set the tone early in shifts, throwing his body around. I don't see that there's anything really with him. But the spotlight is on Marner. And it's easy to sit here and say that they're going to, come away with a win tonight. But, man, it doesn't look good here.
Look, it doesn't look good. There's no doubt about it. But sometimes things like this can polarize teams. And I said it, I'm not taking it back. Look, I've been following this team, and I don't know, like maybe me following this team, I've been suffering in silence for them. I had shingles, and they gave you migraines, and I can tell you, trying to play professional hockey, let alone rec league hockey, is not possible.
I get it. They're
brutal. I mean, I could barely get out of bed. I'm a very durable person. Things don't slow me down very often. I had troubles getting out of bed. Trying to work out was almost impossible. Everything was impossible. Eating anything. Then, 2 weeks ago, I'm in Las Vegas for a pay-per-view. I break a table with my head and almost chop my ear off. That was fun. If you want to have fun spending an emergency room in Las Vegas, excellent entertainment. A wild place. Then I got home for 2 days and got as sick as I've ever been in my life. Couldn't tell you the last time I puked. Went to go to the airport, puked 4 times in my driveway. Good luck with that, wife. Made her clean it up because I'm a man. And I was going to miss my flight. Somehow flew to Toronto, wrestled 2 main events on Saturday and Sunday.
My goodness.
Leafs gear everywhere. Everybody, what are you doing? Listen, I've supported this team since I was 3 years old, and they haven't scared me off yet, and it's not happening now. And I'm telling you, I have this in my gut, in my absolute soul. They are going to win this hockey game tonight. They're going to push this series to 7.
With or without Matthews?
Yeah. With or without. I don't care. It doesn't matter.
I heard MMA podcast in the house says Vegas emergency rooms are not for the faint of heart. That place is terrifying.
It's a wild place.
I can only imagine.
Saturday night, the closest emergency room to the Strip, and it was. If you live in Canada, I lived in Canada for the majority, over half of my life. And you're traumatized. You don't want to go to the hospital because you're going to sit there and wait forever. What I will say about it, it was super clean. It was super professional. And they basically reattached my ear in 45 minutes and I was out the door. So, all good.
My goodness, you've gone through, you and Matthew.
I don't know what's going on. I mean, I have had
Leafs.
The last month of my life has been insane. And I don't know what I'm paying for, but I'm paying dearly for something.
Just facing some adversity to make you tougher. Man, it's a wild ride for you, for sure. Adam Szymanski in the house. Good morning. We see some people here chiming in on the Leafs and the Bruins here. Daily handle with Jordan Allen. Good morning, means EY and everybody. Wow, you're that confident, EY. Szymanski chimes in. Leafs have been the better team through 4 games. Series deserves to be 2-2. You're not wrong about that. They have been the better 5-5 team. It's what's killed them is the special teams. Yep. It's kind of what we talked about when we previewed this series, is that the Leafs penalty kill was the second worst penalty kill among the playoff teams. They were 23rd, I believe. The Islanders are dead last. And the power play had been awful down the stretch of the season, and it's carried over here into the playoffs. I think that they have one power play goal, I do believe. And the Bruins are a team that's scored, I think, 5 or 6 power play goals against them. So special teams has certainly been a major difference between the two. And also Swayman. We don't even know, is Joseph Woll starting? I think that he is going to start tonight. I think everything that I read yesterday with the Leafs practice and some of the body language in the answers from Samsonov talking about how he needs to get his mind ready and set for, preparing for what's to come. And I think that was just kind of telling on the wall. He was the first goalie to leave. Actually, they both left, but usually Wall had been staying a little bit later because as the backup for the first few games of the series. And I think he left earlier than he normally does, but I don't know if there's any speculation or anything confirmed about that. And again, talking to you guys here live at just after 11 Eastern, I don't know anything about Auston Matthews. Verhaeghe really scored twice to tie Stamkos and cashed the leader ticket. Yeah, you know what? Last night, great for our Panthers. Took care of the Lightning in 5. we did get burned on a couple things. We had Carter Verhaeghe to lead the series in goals at 9-1. He did get 2, and he tied Stamkos. He most likely got paid just half, a little bit of that. I know a lot of people in our Discord last night got a little bit of a profit back with Carter Verhaeghe 9-1 to lead the series in goals. We also had him for 3 goals at plus 140. So we did hit a couple futures in there. He was 1 shot away behind Sam Reinhart for the most shots in the series, and Reinhart had 5 last night. Verhaeghe had 8. It was a crazy. I mean, Kachuk was right there as well. Just animals. They did this without Sam Bennett over the previous couple of games. So if you thought the Florida Panthers run last year was fluky, no chance. They're going to await the winner here of Boston and Toronto. We could potentially get another rematch there. We also did get the Rangers to win the series. A little bit of juice on the series spread to win by 2 at minus 175. But we did have the sweep over at FTN at 5-1 for the Rangers, and they took care of the Capitals pretty easily, man. It was probably one of the worst playoff teams I've ever seen in Washington. Ovechkin had nothing. He did nothing. Like, I don't think he picked up a point, and he wasn't really shooting the puck. Marner has been awfully scared of the big stage. Can't handle the pressure and the physicality. Lee Ving, go Sharks. We got Bruce in the house. Good morning, Means, EY, and DB Celly. Yeah, I love Lee as well. Go Sharks. Hey, Will Smith, man. At least see Will Smith maybe next year for you. Diehard MMA. Panthers going to cash our future tickets this year. I can feel it. Well, Dallas is right back in the series at 2-2. So
what a game.
What a game. What a series. Wyatt Johnson, if you watch Mean Streets yesterday, we gushed over him. He had 15 shot attempts in game 3. Finally moved to the top line, although Pete DeBoer put him on the third line again with Ben. Pavelski looks like dust. It's still a good player, experience, fine player to roll out there on power play 1 and all those good things. But Wyatt Johnson is Dallas's best forward. This guy needs to play more.
He's got the juice, man.
He's leading the forwards in ice time. We laddered him up to 6 shots last night. Again, we had another solid night. Wyatt Johnson, 3 shots, 4 shots, 5 shots, 6 shots, picked up a point, scored another goal, 3 goals on the road in that series. And finally, Pete DeBoer has realized, like, hey, this is our best player on offense. Let's play him with our best players in Robertson and Hintz, who's scored an empty goal. Maybe he gets going. But yeah, hopefully the Panthers cash there. Panthers will handle whoever comes out between Boston and Toronto. 3-horse race in the East. I agree. I think we said that at the start. That was the biggest point for me at the start in identifying futures with the FTN family, is that there are 3 teams I believe in the East and really just one. And no disrespect to the Rangers or the Canes. I think that Florida is better than Carolina and New York as well. Hurricanes are a team that continues to generate a bunch of shots, a bunch of attempts, but they're not scoring a lot of goals. And how good the Rangers are good, but we'll really get a good feel of those 2 teams when they play stiffer competition. But the Panthers, I think, will take care. Do you agree the Panthers will take care of whoever comes out of this Boston and Toronto series?
Man, I mean, they're just all 3 of them are even. I would say, if I was to pick, it's going to be Panthers because of the experience and just by the way they play, like the pressure, right? Like, I know Carolina wants to play that way, but they don't play the same as Florida. I'm not a super X's and O's guy, but when you watch, like, yes, the Canes want the pressure and but they will give the puck up, I think, more than Florida will. Yeah, I think the overall skill of Florida is higher. I think Bennett coming back, if that's even a possibility, I have no idea, will be a big deal for them. But just the truth is just the pressure that they play, that they apply to every single player that has the puck. People are just going to continue to take penalties against these guys and not know how to get through the neutral zone. Now, the Hurricanes with that chip and chase could be the recipe for this. You know what I mean? Like, that could be a way around how the Panthers play. It will depend on how aggressive your wingers are, and are they ready and willing to win those puck battles with the defensemen of Florida. So, man, I love the Florida Panthers. I love the way they play. Led by the heart and soul of Matthew Tkachuk. I think Kevin Weeks said it best when he left Calgary. It tore the soul of that franchise out and ingrained it in Florida. It was like overnight, Calgary went from being this great contending team to being nothing. And Florida went from this middle of the road team to being a contender. And it's all because of Matthew Tkachuk.
Sam Bennett, a former Flame as well. It sounds like he's going to be fine. He was skating with the team, and there was really no need to rush him back. So I would expect him to be available in round 2 for the Florida Panthers, which is great news. So let's get back to tonight. There's 4 games in the ice. Let's get back to Toronto and Boston here. So we just talked about some storylines. You're on the Leafs. I think it's all over for them. I just think that this team, and I'm kicking myself.
You would say that.
Of course. And I should have been on Boston. What the heck was I on Toronto for? I'm drinking this Kool-Aid. Like, this team is fragile, man. They are. They're and I hate to pile on, but they are. They're fragile. This core is not, they don't have it. And it's the same thing year in and year out. Like, great. They're playing a good brand of 5-5 hockey. Awesome. They played a good brand of 5-5 hockey against the Habs a couple years ago, against the Lightning a couple years ago. They have 50 more shot attempts at 5-5. They have about 15 to 20 more scoring chances. I don't know, man. Like, I just don't see it. I don't see it. There's too many things that are happening right now. With Matthews is not 100%. Nylander, if I knew Nylander heading in, I told the subs, like, I don't like the vibes that I'm hearing about Nylander before the series started. I picked him with 6 on the show. Like, I'm willing to take the loss. But before the series started, hearing Nylander, I said immediately, like, we can't feel great about Toronto. And now at this moment, like, on the road, to go win a game on the road with the status of Matthews, now you're throwing in Kid Wall, right? There's too much going on. And we can have a conversation again if the Leafs do get bounced in the first round, especially tonight, about this core. But if they lose this evening, something has to happen. And I'm talking about Keefe. 100% gone. See you later.
Yep.
You're gone. Yep. Fired. Out the door. Tree Living is there. He's new. He's going to get his own guy. To me, Matthews stays. Nylander stays. Tavares is the captain. So what can you do? Nobody wants the contract. Nobody's going to be acquiring Tavares. You're stuck with him.
Yep.
You need to have a conversation about Marner is a limited no trade clause, so he could just say, screw it, I'm not going anywhere. I'll just leave through free agency. And what a headache that could be over the next year and a half or so about Marner. Maybe he just decides, screw it, like, get me the hell out of here. I'll go anywhere. Or no, I'm not leaving. I want X amount of dollars, and they lose him through free agency. You got Morgan Riley, $7 million for the next 6 years too. Like, something is going to have to change if they can't find a way to get past this Bruins team. But I just can't back them tonight. I know you're going to back them. I love you for it.
Yeah. And when
I'm sure we'll see their best effort.
You will call me the prophet.
I will call you the prophet for sure. Okay, so you got some goal scorers over there, because they're going to have to score a couple to win,
right? I mean, we don't even know who's going to play at this point. I mean, maybe Jared
Nylander's played and Marner's played.
I don't know.
Tavares played. I know that those guys.
Yeah, and I have Nylander down first. And if Matthews plays, I would go with him. If he doesn't play, I'm going with the captain, John Tavares. I got a sneaky suspicion that Bertuzzi tucks one in here tonight, and I've got him included in a weird bet that I want to give away at the end of the show.
Okay, perfect. These are the bets that I put in last night. You're right.
Auston, Marchand for Boston. Those are the usual suspects for me.
Marchand's been phenomenal. And I know
he's been insane. I'm not taking anything away from Boston, but I'm telling you, Maple Leafs are going to win this game tonight.
What we talked about on the last episode was
I can't wait for Jay to clip this and for my face to show up on one of our TikTok videos for once.
You were on we had you on Kuzmenko, and then
doing what I do best, jumping off the top of a ladder and hurting myself.
Oh, that was great, by the way. I thought Jay did a phenomenal job with that TikTok. He asked, he's like, do you think Eric would care if I used a clip of him on the ladder? I think no. I think it would be amazing. And we put that on Adrian Kempe, and it was great. Like, you just pointed to the ladder.
Yeah.
You got on the ladder and Kempe went off. So yeah, MJ's like, clip it. Leafs win, we'll clip it. We'll pile on me for the hate. And
anyone doubting me, clip it, save it in your folder, replay it whenever you're wondering about your life. You need advice to come to me.
Man. There was the Kuzmenko one. Somebody talked about your voice being unbelievable. Man, This guy's voice is awesome.
This is every day, guys. Just living the dream.
So all day. Reed in the house. EY's face and the TikTok thumb might break the algorithm. Careful, boys. Oh my goodness.
I know all about the algorithm tricks. Oh, look at me. Whoa. Every clip is that because it makes people click on it. If I was a woman, I would do different things to make you click on it, but I'm not doing that.
I'm telling Jay to jump in DBC chat when he can. We're talking about you. We want you clipped. Okay, so he's on the top of the world. He's a Hurricanes guy. He sent me a message the other day when the Hurricanes lost Game 4, and he was like a little bit salty about the Islanders fan base and the team
they've ever looked.
Yeah,
in a decade, it's the most dangerous they've looked.
MJ says 4-1 Bruins. Heinen, Jake, pass the 2 goals, goal scorers. Maddie for legs. It's all coming. Come on, we need EY twerking. That'll break it. Oh man, good stuff here. EY's a good sport. He's a good sport. I loved the ladder clip. I just watched it over and over and over again, and I loved him pointing at the top of the ladder, and it's just great. So bets I put in last night. Brad Marchand. I took the juice on him to get a point the other night at like minus 166. It's now minus 190, I think. I mean, he's just been awesome. You talked about in the last episode, you had him to score a goal. That was game 3. And then game 4, he was stuck. There he is. There's Jay. We were just talking about your TikTok with the ladder. We thought it was fantastic. If you read the comments earlier, EY wants you to clip about the Leafs he guaranteed a win tonight for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He says it's going to happen, and he has a couple nice little screenshots for you of his face to break the algorithm. He thinks that we all think we'll break the algorithm tonight, and at the end of the day, the Bruins are going to win like 5-1. It's going to be all over. But a couple things done and done. A couple things.
Thanks,
so Marchand didn't get the 3 shots, but
this may be my last transmission.
Wacky Tuesday here. Brad Marchand didn't get the shots, but I think the process was correct. He does lead the series, or he leads the Bruins with 10 shots at 5-5. And at all strengths, he has 23 attempts and 14 shots. He's plus 110 over at DraftKings for 3 shots. Juice to the point, but I can't see him not hitting the score sheet. You know what I mean? Like this guy's he's been all over it.
Yeah. They
finally put all the boys back together on the power play. So I got Brad Marchand for 3 shots at plus 110, and David Pasternak's had 3 shots. Pasta hasn't been his usual self in this series, but he does have 2 goals and 4 points. He did score in game 4. He does lead the Bruins, of course, in shot attempts with 31 at all strengths. And at 5-5, he is tied up at the top with Charlie McAvoy with 17, but he's only put 5 of those on net. But at all strengths, he has 11 shots. But I'm just thinking home ice, back with the big boys on the power play, Leafs in trouble, smelling blood. We're getting 3.5 here for David Pastrnak. It's probably my favorite play of the night, to be honest with you. We usually have this guy at 4.5, and we haven't really bet him a whole lot this year. But minus 145 at DraftKings, over 3.5 shots. Also put in last night Charlie McAvoy over 1.5 blocks at minus 135 at DraftKings. That number is now moved across most books at 2.5. He has had at least 3 blocks in 2 of the 4 games in this series. Do with that what you will. If you can get 1.5 and put it into a parlay with Joel Edmondson. Joel Edmondson is minus 133 over at Caesars for 2 blocks. And he is he's been noticeable, man. He's got a lot of playoff experience. He's got a
great pickup for them. He has looked solid, right?
Yeah, he was great for the Habs when they took out the Leafs there a couple of years ago. Just a friendly reminder of that for you. But he had 5 blocks in game 3 against the Bruins, and he had 2 blocks in each of the first 2 games of the series as well. So through 4 games in the series, Joel Edmondson's picked up 10 blocks. So he's minus 133 for 2 blocks here tonight. And you said it off the top. I know you were kind of like poking and tongue in cheek, but Pavel Zacha for a point. Like, what are we doing here? He's still minus 130 for a point. He's still playing with David Pastrnak. I actually like the line juggling that Montgomery did, put DeBrusk there because I thought DeBrusk has been very, very noticeable in this series as well. And if there's a Leaf tonight that shows up, I know you picked a couple goal scorers, but is it not Nylander? I think If there's a guy, I know he's playing on the third line, whatever. If Matthews doesn't play, then it's going to be put into a complete blender. But this guy's going to play tonight. He's going to play a lot. Over 3.5 shots is plus 125 over at BetMGM. So I like Willie Nylander, and I think we can do some sort of same game parlay tonight with like maybe we tease down Marchand for 2 shots, Pasta for 3, and I think he can do the big 3 for the Leafs, assuming no Matthews. We can go Marner, Tavares, and Nylander. This is probably going to be some sort of desperation. Keefe is going to, double shift these guys, play them a little bit, if they're down by a goal in the game. It's just like should be a more ice time for those guys and less for like the Reeves and the Cat, whatever other fourth line scrubs. I'm sorry, man. We'll move on. We'll move on. Prediction of the score?
I'm going to say, let's go 5-2.
Holy crap, you're really drinking the Kool-Aid today. Reed is in here and he says DK shot prop lines are off. 2.5 for Marchand is plus 1.5. But if you go down to alternate shots interesting. Yeah, okay. Nice little tip there, Reed. Get the alternate shots, 3+ shots at plus 110. Again, a friendly reminder with these shot props. We haven't seen a lengthy overtime game yet. We've been really close. We were one Mira Heiskanen shot away last night from like a 150-1. It's just like we've been right there, hoping that we get like an overtime game. But again, a friendly reminder, take these at DraftKings, take these at Bet365. FanDuel will only count in regulation. So for tonight, if you had a parlay with like 4 or 5 guys to get 3-4 shots, and just make sure you do that over at Bet365 in case we get like a double overtime game tonight or something like that. I agree. So be careful when placing shots on DK, get the better line, and use the prop shop over at FTN fantasy.com. It's like Google search, type in whoever you want and it'll all pop up for you. Yeah, I don't believe daily faceoff, Troy. They've been wrong. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I know everything, but I pretty much watched every second of every playoff game. I'm that much of a psycho. I've seen all the combinations, all the playoff combinations, the power play combinations. I've seen it all. And Pasternak was up on the top power play. They had them all together in game 4. In game 3, they didn't. They had Pasta and Zaka separated. They had McAvoy and Marchand and DeBrusk, and that was the power play that was clicking early in the series, but they put them all together. And there was another power play that I saw on Daily Faceoff that was completely wrong as well. I forget who it was. Oh, it may have been Vegas. They had Marchessault on the top power play, which wasn't the case. They've actually taken Marchessault off that top power play for Hurdle, Stone, and Eichel. So just be careful. Daily Faceoff, they do a good job, but it's not perfect, right? They're just kind of getting info from beat writers and things like that. All right, let's move on. We've talked enough about the Leafs and then
we did have some behind the scenes peek here from Matt H saying 34 lasted 5 minutes and left the ice. Highly doubtful tonight, but they got JT, Nyes, and Nylander skating together with 34 out. So I think Troy wanted or Clint wanted to do a bet with me, so we'll see. I drink everything and anything, Clint. So if you want to put a wager on this, we can do
that. This is what I'm talking about. You know what? I'm gonna let's get all these Leafs in here. Like, let's desperation mode. William Nylander plus 120. Plus 120 for 4 shots. Tavares is plus 135 for 4 shots. And you know what? Marner's been under the spotlight, and I get it. But this guy's got to show up tonight for a couple shots as well. Plus 125 for 3. I like them all. I'm gonna play all 3 of them. I'm gonna put them in some sort of parlay as well. I'll save it for the end of the show. We'll move on from this game. I'll save it for the end of the show. I'll do like a little bit of a same game parlay, but I'll probably tease the guys down to 3. And I think Bertuzzi's in play as well. These guys are going to get leaned on here a little bit. WC doesn't sound like it from about Auston Matthews playing tonight. Our guy Matt H says 34 last 5 minutes on the ice and then left quickly. Highly doubtful for tonight that Nylander, JT, and Nyes are playing together on a line. Go Leafs, go. Let's go. Domi, Marner, Bertuzzi, line 1. Yeah, I mean, okay. They're together, but we'll call that line 2. But thank you for the information. This is a line as well. Domi and Bertuzzi. Like, these guys are going to play heavy minutes tonight. That line's going to play heavy minutes tonight. This line's going to play heavy minutes tonight. I would rank them Nylander, Tavares, Marner, Bertuzzi. I think they're all in play for shots, but I think the Bruins close this out, and I really do. I think they close this out. There were a couple other comments, I think. Was it pretty sure EY also teased a nip slip. At the end of last game, they put Pasta and Marchand back together, PP1. Yeah, exactly. Hey, man. Hey, on MMA streams, we do the drinking bets. EY, I'll take the Bruins. You get the Leafs. Leafs win, I do 2 shots. Bruins win, you do 2, or beer, whatever you drink. Fair. And I'll watch on the sideline and drink 4 shots and entertainment. And you just had, all right, we're good here. TJ Parker, man, I had a huge ticket of the weekend. Shots, $15, played 1G and only 1 leg miss. Kucherov 0 shot. Buddy, I don't even want to talk about that. We're together. FTN crew.
Kucherov looked awful.
He had 7 assists, but he didn't shoot the puck. He shot the puck, but he didn't hit the net. And I don't even know if they're shots. He does this shot pass thing all the time. But yeah, they took him out of the series, and that's what Florida does. They're so physical. They can get you off your game like that.
Yeah.
Like they are just in your face nonstop. Kucherov is like,
I'm not even talking about the points, right? It's like he was like mishandling pucks.
Right.
And like,
yeah, he was rattled.
Giving the puck away. Like, I mean, he hasn't done that all year. He's been an absolute god the entire season.
Yeah. We needed 2 shots from Kucherov as well over the weekend for like, I think it was a massive, I thought it was like 65 or 125. We had a couple different variations of it. He didn't show up. And then Arvidsson the other night, we needed 1 more shot for him for 4 Gs. He does nothing. And then he had all the shots in the Kings game the last time out, and Edmonton didn't do anything. So it was just, anyways, that's how it goes. But we're close. We're right there. And we're in there. Nail a big one over at FTN. Sign up. We're up to 55 units over at FTN on the NHL side, 32 on sides. Totals haven't been great, but props been solid. Islanders and Hurricanes. This is what everyone's here for. Everyone's here for the Leafs talk. Let's be honest. But the Islanders and Carolina, I think that this is all over for the Islanders tonight. My prediction was Hurricanes in 6. Islanders squeaked one out at home. They've been pretty good. Like, honestly, they've been a lot better than I thought. They would be. They've hung around. They probably deserve maybe 2 wins in this series. Waugh went to Sorokin for game 3, and he laid an egg. Back to Varlamov, I would assume here. So I don't have a lot of plays. Honestly, like this game and the Nashville game, I've kind of just crossed off my list. I think there's the Jets and the Avs, and then the Leafs and the Bruins are where the money's at tonight. But I know you got a couple goal scorers. Do you think it's all over tonight for the Islanders, and who do you think scores?
Yeah, I do. I'm not. Carolina has looked really good. I mean, Islanders have been more impressive than I thought. I thought this was going to be done in 4, especially after the first 2 games. They got kind of dog walked a little bit, but they fought back. There's still a lot of players on the Islanders that I like, but they just look at Carolina. They did the right things by breaking their rules and signing a free agent that might disappear. In Gensel. I think he set a record for the highest scoring free agent signed from the deadline forward or whatever it was. I've got Gensel and Jarvis, another guy that's, man, he's like twice the player he was last year. Like he's like joking around saying he like stopped eating candy or whatever it was that he said, but he looks like another.
Was that Seth Jarvis?
Seth Jarvis. He said, "Oh yeah, I stopped eating candy in the offseason. I started taking things real serious." What? You're playing the show. Why are you eating candy? What is happening? Anyways, you're a grown man. Stop. And Gensel and Jarvis, New York. Barzal he's been very good for them, right? I mean, every time he touches the puck, you feel like something's going to happen. And also, like, that's always been a complaint from us and from everybody is you have the puck. Like, you can't make the perfect pass. Shoot the puck, man. And he's good at it. So, it's cool to see that, like him and Panarin kind of at the same time, both deciding to shoot and having, really good years. So I'm going Barzal and I'm going Brock Nelson because he's been absolute Mr. Consistent for them for over half a decade.
I've lost so much money betting Islanders, Hurricanes, unders. I can't wait for this series to go over. Just to be over. It does, WC does sound like Joseph Wall, but I was just speculating what moves to Shanahan. We'll have to save that for another day. We talked about it earlier off the top. I gave my 2 cents, but yeah, I would maybe check back in on Thursday when the Leafs are on the golf course, and we'll talk about that.
Easy,
Leafs are definitely winning tonight. I've been too chirpy. Leafs are winning tonight for sure. Yeah, I couldn't agree more on Barzell. It seems like the chat is kind of like staying away from this game in general. But Barzell has been shooting. He's got 4 shots and at least 4 shots in 3 of the 4 games. Now, mind you, he needed a couple overtimes to get to 4 the other night, but he had 5 in game 1, he had 4 in game 3, and he had 4 in game 4, and he's plus 100 for 3 shots tonight. So I do think that he's like the one Islander I probably would attack. I mean, him, Horvat, and Palmieri are all at 23 shot attempts in the series. Horvat and Palmieri have 15, but at 5 and 5, like there's just not a lot here. Barzell does lead the Islanders with 22 shot attempts. Palmieri's got 15 at 5 and 5, and he's got 12 shots. So Matthew Barzell is on my short list tonight at plus 100. It's pretty much the only guy that I would really consider. Gensel's been very, very quiet in this series. You expect him to wake up tonight. They haven't really needed him, but it'd be nice to see him get going.
Yeah. I mean, they need something, right? Like,
well, about Gensel, you think Gensel wakes up tonight?
I hope. I mean, for their sake, I hope so. I mean, and what is wild is he was easily their best player down the stretch, right? Like the last, from being picked up to then, it was like every time he was on the ice, the puck was in the back of the net, and we haven't seen him really do much of anything. So, like, I'm not, I think we would have heard something now if there was an injury or something, but like, it's not like it was a mystery if this guy does well in the playoffs. Every year that he's in the playoffs, he's been elite, right? And like, I'm not listening to the thing, well, he's not playing with Crosby. Well, he wasn't playing with Crosby when he got traded over to Carolina, was shooting the lights out either. Aho is a great player. Carolina is a great team. Gensel is a great player. And if they want to continue the success, he's going to have to start doing something, because you're not going to get to play the New York Islanders every series.
No, you're not.
You got to play Florida. You're going to need Gensel to score, or you're going to get walked.
Yeah, definitely. Gensel does lead he at all strengths. Gensel does lead the Hurricanes with 17 scoring chances. Aho's got 15 and Jarvis got 14. So just goes to show that line, although Svechnikov is back up in that line. At 5 and 5, it's it's just like what we've talked about for the past 3 years. It's all defensemen. 27 attempts from Burns, 22 from Orlov. Shea's got 20. Chatfield's got 17. It's all defensemen. They use their point a lot. Some of these shots don't get through. But Jordan Martinook leads the team in shots with 12 at 5 and 5. He is now up to plus 145 for 3. It is wild. I would consider him at 1.5 and a little bit of juice, but asking for 3 at plus 145, I think is a bit much to ask for. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think we can. If you're looking for some sort of long shot play inside this game, I would consider him. He's got 2 games in this series with 5 shots, but the other 2 he was stuck on 1. But you're getting plus 145 for the guy to lead, who is leading the Islander, or the Hurricanes rather, with 25 shot attempts and 12 shots at 5 and 5. He is the leader. I think Burns is interesting too at 6-1 anytime goal, worth a little bit of a sprinkle. Why not? He's on that first power play, and he does lead the Hurricanes in all strengths in terms of shot attempts with 31. He's only put 9 on net, but he does have a goal in this series, and not just the attempts. He has 91 minutes played as well, which does lead the Hurricanes in ice time. So we'll move on from this game. I think it's going to be all over for them. Gensel and Aho for a point at Bet365 is minus 125. And I got Andrei Svechnikov for a point at minus 150. But if you want to, I will probably I'm already like heavily invested in the Hurricanes, like getting this done in 6. But for them to win in regulation tonight, minus 140, maybe like a 1.5 units or 2 units on them. I think that they take care of the Islanders tonight in reg, and they send New York home. Colorado Winnipeg, a little bit more of a appealing series. Man, it looked all over, not all over, but like, what a great start for the Jets, right? In game one. It is just like, wow, Gio has looked awful again. Helly let in a couple goals, but the Jets are scoring. Man, they got
you had
Colorado's
me almost talked into changing my bracket. And I was man, he's right. You're right. Harry is going to follow McKinnon around, and Hellebuyck is so good.
It looks
and
like
I mean, I didn't change
wrong.
it, but I was very worried about it. And I mean,
Colorado it looks like I'm wrong. Yeah.
I mean, the truth of this is it comes down to this. Hellebuyck has not been good.
No, he hasn't at all.
He's been bad.
He's just been average below average. Yeah. He's been bad. Yeah, he's been bad. And Gio's outplaying him, which is something I just didn't expect to happen. Like, I just, especially after seeing game one, it's just like, are you kidding me? Like, when you look at some of these numbers, they pulled him in game two. Brossoit came in game three. It's just, it's not even really McKinnon. Like, McKinnon's been great, but it's Arturi Lehkonen, who's been fantastic in every single game. Chushkin
of them.
Bill Makar. Yeah. Middle stats and playing pretty good as well.
I love Yossi, but I mean, Makar is the best defenseman in the league, and it's just not close.
It's the closest thing to like Bobby Orr that we didn't really get to see. It's the closest thing, and the way that he can skate up and down the ice with ease. He's really fun to watch.
The way he can pinch, the way he controls pace, the way he controls the offensive zone, the defensive zone, the neutral zone. Like, you can't chip it past him because he'll just turn and go get it. You can't blow past him because he'll push you to the outside or gap up or knock the puck off your stick. Like, I mean, dude, it's insane. I'm gonna go back to my article that I wrote about him and why he should be the first defenseman you pick from our time at the Athletic. I'm gonna print it and hang it on the wall. I think that's your best call. Where me as the prophet. That's where it started, and it continues tonight when Toronto wins against Boston.
Love it. How about Arturi Lehkonen? He's got a goal in every single game. He's got 7 points through the 4. Yeah, I miss him in Montreal. I felt like just like a homer talking about him for years, but he was a player that always stood out. The effort was always there. He's extremely smart defensively. He's underrated as an offensive mind. He never got power play time in Montreal. Can you believe that? He never got power play time in Montreal, but the Avs are willing to put him on the first power play unit immediately. He's clutch. He's clutch at the Habs with big time goals, and he's been clutch with the Avs with big time goals as well, dating back to that cup win from them. But yeah, he's got goals in every game of the series. He's got 7 points. He's got 3 of the 4 games, multi-point games. And I'm surprised, like we got plus 145 for Lehkonen in game 2 for 3 shots. This is the first time I've seen minus 114 over at Bet Rivers. DK is minus 130. BetMGM is minus 135. So again, prop shop, you type in Arturi Lehkonen, books will show up and you get the best possible numbers, save time, save cash. Lehkonen over 1.5 or 2.5 shots, minus 114. He's had 7, 4, 5, and 3 in this series. Also minus 160 for a point. There's a little bit of juice there on Valery Nichushkin, but I'm drinking it up because he's been red hot as well. Minus 157. Oh, your guy. Can you believe that he went an entire season with the with the Dallas Stars and he didn't score a goal? Didn't even have a penalty. Like, how could he? How could a human with that
actually
skill set,
insane?
It's wild. I know he didn't break out until after, but this guy was a Dallas Star and he had a lot of like hype around him, and he played a full season. I don't know. I don't remember the amount of games, but he didn't score a goal.
It was he for sure played over 60 games and somehow didn't score a goal.
Yeah, it's now I'm curious. I'm just gonna look it up. He's 57 games with the Dallas Stars in 2018, 2019. 0 goals. 0 goals, 10 assists, minus 4. Dude didn't even have a penalty minute. Like, he'd hardly hit the score sheet in 57 games, and that's all he does now. It's crazy. He's minus 157 for 3 shots. He's coming off the hat trick. He's got 6 goals in this series, and he's got 16 shots, 3, 5, 3, and 5. So those are the 2 guys for me. I've been staying away from McKinnon for the most part. I think I've bet him a couple times, but the Adam Lowry effect is real. And I think it's extremely real on home ice where the Jets will have the last change. And he's done a pretty good job, what he can do anyways. It's the other guys that need to step up for the Jets. It's Scheifele, it's Velarde, it's Connor, Ehlers. These guys need to step up. I don't know what they do with their lines tonight, but in the third period, they had Ehlers, Scheifele, and Connor all together on a line. We could see some of that tonight. Do you think that this series is over this evening? And who do you got for goal scorers?
I do think that this is over. I think that at this point, it's Colorado's just in their head. I thought Colorado would win this. I think Colorado, other than maybe Vegas, is one of the deepest teams in the NHL. When you fully look at it and the personnel and everybody is playing, the worry was goaltending. And Georgiev in the first game, it was like, oh no, I cannot believe I picked Colorado. And then since then, he's been very good. And it's like, I never look at it like, oh, he's battling Hellebuck. I mean, they're the two goalies playing for that one win. But in the end, he's battling the Winnipeg Jets. The Winnipeg Jets have been a good offensive team for most of the year, especially since Monahan and Toffoli and those guys came over. Toffoli's been invisible. I mean, completely invisible. That's something that I would have never
foot speed is just not there for him.
Was never a foot speed guy, but he is just not part of the play, right? Like he
looks so slow in this series. The abs are just so much quicker, right?
So much quicker. He just can't get to where he needs to be. Can't catch anybody. Can't contribute really in any way because of the speed. So yeah, I mean, if Georgiev just plays decent, this team is going to have a very deep run. They have one of, if not the best player at the defensive position. And you're talking I'm a diehard Roman Josi guy, and Roman Josi is one of, it would be 1B or 2 to me in the NHL. He plays all over the ice and just doing things that are unexplainable. But Cal McCarr is on another level. He's an alien. He's an absolute alien.
He is. I think the Jets will win tonight. I think they're toast, though. I think they're done. Yeah, I mean, it was a great first game. We were drinking the Jets upset Kool-Aid, but Hellebuck needs to steal. He needs to be basically perfect. I think he's going to show up tonight and have his best game of the series. I think that the Jets will squeak this one out, but I'm not super confident in it, and I'm not super confident in really any of their props. I saw the Scheifele post game. It's every year with this guy, right? There's always seems to be something in Winnipeg where he's under the spotlight. His comments are under the spotlight, but they re-upped, so he's there to stay. I thought he was part of the problem. I thought when Paul Maurice left, he said they needed a new voice in the room, and I thought it was Scheifele or Wheeler that needed to go. They decided to part ways with Wheeler and kept Scheifele, which I think is the right call given the age and Scheifele trying to figure it out. But yeah, his body language is fairly weak and kind of comes across as a little sooky. I think tonight for ladders, I know I saw Szymanski talking about Lehkonen and Nichushkin. I would lean with, I think both of them are in play. I think my favorite of the two would be Nichushkin, just because he's more of a shooter. Lehkonen will, I mean, Lehkonen's been shooting as well, but he's also, I don't know. There's tunnel vision, I think, with Nichushkin. He's got 30 attempts here at all strengths. Makar's got 33. McKinnon's got 31. Lehkonen's just behind him with 19. Lehkonen does lead the Avs in shots with 19 as well. And at 5-5, it's Casey Middlestad who leads the squad with 14 shots. Lehkonen with 12. I think, both of these guys are in play for shots. If you want to ladder them up, Nichushkin's plus 150 for 4 shots. He is plus 320 for 5 shots. Lehkonen is plus 190 for 4 shots and plus 425 for 5 shots. I think we'll see Ehlers and Connor get their 3. They've been kind of hit or miss, stuck at 2. But you can do some sort of same game parlay with Makar 3, Nichushkin 3, Lehkonen 3. So that's 4. I was like, why is that so much? So Makar 3, Nichushkin 3, Lehkonen 3, and if you wanted to go down to Ehlers and Connor at 2, that pays 5-1. That's just leaving McKinnon off. I mean, he burned us the other day. If you put McKinnon at 4 shots, it's 7-1. You leave him off the board, it's 5-1 for those big guys. Those are the shooters here in this series. Okay, final game of the night is Vancouver and Nashville. Man, Preds tough because they could easily be up 3-1 in this series. Should be heartbreaking game 4 loss. We had Nashville in the under. It was like 3-1 with a couple minutes left, and all of a sudden it was 3-3 and they lost in overtime. So we were on the wrong side of that game and how that one shaped out. What have you seen from Nashville? And I don't think that they're done. Like, it doesn't feel like they're done. It's crazy. No. Vancouver's got 3 wins and all from 3 different goalies in this series.
Yeah, a couple of misplays in that game. The truth is they outplayed Vancouver from the go, right? I mean, they dominated the majority of play in that game, and it just shows you how unfair and also how your attention to detail can't lapse for a second. And it happened. And look, like it is insane to go from 3-1 to losing that game. I'm not taking anything away from Vancouver. Obviously, Brock Boeser is a guy that we've talked about highly for years now. But the truth is Vancouver had no business winning that game. None. Just
neither of them. Neither game 3 or game 4. Like, they hardly put any shots. They played a defensive style without Demko, but they were worked over considerably in both games.
Yeah, game 1, the Preds, had Vancouver had the puck for 80% of the game. It was like whatever it was, 30 something blocks, 35 blocks. They had no business winning that. So this has just been an upside down series. I think I'm putting my trust in Andrew Brunette. Andrew Brunette has done and pressed the right buttons and said the right things at the right time. And I feel like going into that room, he's going to say, that's our game. Like that we outplayed them in every way, in every statistical category, in every way the game can be measured. And that's, I mean, quite frankly, it's bullshit luck. And luck has run out for them. And the other part of it is there's way more playoff experience on the Nashville Predators than there is on Vancouver. Vancouver was a better team this year statistically. You have probably the guy that's going to win the Norris Trophy. You got a bunch of superstar players, but the truth is none of these guys have played in the playoffs. And analytic people and people that don't follow, you can say whatever you want. You have to lose in the playoffs before you can win. And it's been that way. It's always going to be that way. Nashville snuck into the playoffs last year. Guys like Cole Smith and McCarron and Sherwood and, Evangelista and all these guys who were rookies, got a bunch of experience. Forsberg's played in a bunch. Yossi's played in a bunch. Saros has played in a bunch now. They're going to win this game tonight. Burnett is going to have these guys ready to play. The game plan is going to be just like it was in game 4, except the result is going to be very, very different.
I like Nashville to win too. I mean, we have the. It's been something weird going on with Vancouver all year long. You kind of alluded to it, right? I mean, they're a team that had a double-digit shooting percentage of 5-5. The PDO is off the charts. Is a little bit lucky. Sometimes the stuff carries over to a lengthy run, like Seattle. They were 1 game away from going to the Western Conference last year, and then the regression came in their game this past season. It could happen for them. Where's Elias Pettersson? He's been extremely quiet. Is he hurt? Maybe he's just not playing with anybody good. These are things that we talked about heading into the playoffs with the Canucks. Like, I think the Oilers are going to steamroll whoever wins this series. And I don't think it's going to be close. And I know Vancouver had their way with Edmonton, but they need something else. Like, they are just squeaking by with these victories. And without Demko, I just don't feel like they'll be able to go on a run. And if Nashville finds a way, maybe they're a team, right? You win 3 in a row. You have some momentum. Maybe they're a team that can push Edmonton, but I just wouldn't see it either. I think the Oilers got a pretty good path here getting to the Western Conference Finals, but maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves. It'd be silly not to take a same game parlay point prop on Brock Boeser or JT Miller. Like, these guys are the guys that are showing up for the Canucks every single game. Like, that's where they're getting their offense from. Elias Pettersson, as I mentioned, has been extremely quiet. So in this series so far at all strengths, we have Brock Boeser, who's got the 4 goals and 5 points. We have JT Miller, who has 6 points in the series. So they're leading the way for Vancouver. Seen some nice moments from Elias Lindholm, who's got 2 goals in this series. But Pettersson has 4 shots at all strengths, and he's got 2 assists. At 5-on-5, Pius Suter leads the team with just 8 shots.
Crazy.
8 shots at 5-5. Zadorov is next with 7. Miller and Besser have 5. Hughes has 4. Pedersen has 3. So I would just shy away from these shot props. I'm not a big under guy, but I could see like this series, the way it's gone, like I could see like a 2 or 3 overtime type of game where maybe you get burned by the unders unless you take the FanDuel unders. But I just don't see a whole lot that I love from this game. There's not a lot of shot volume. Even on Nashville's side, Philip Forsberg actually is Evangelista, who burned us in one game here. He didn't have any shots, I think, and then he followed up with 5. But he does lead the Preds with 9 shots at 5-5. Forsberg has 8. Anthony Bolivier has been noticeable in the series. He has 7, and Jason Zucker has 7.
Too.
Yeah, those guys have 7 each. Forsberg leads with 22 attempts at 5-5. Next up is Roman Josi with 13, and he only has 3 shots at 5-5. When you include all strengths, Forsberg has been firing 31 attempts, but only 12 of them on net. 25 from Josi, but only 5 on net. Evangelista was 16 and only 12 on net. So Evangelista is interesting to me as like a shot prop guy. Let's see. I'm going to fall down this. Actually, you know what? Josi, I think I saw your comment, Adam, about Josi. I'm going to take that juice. I don't think it's a trap, actually. Josi over 2.5 shots, minus 145. In an elimination game, like this guy may not leave the ice. He could be pushing for that goal. Minus 145 is one that I can get behind for Josi. And Evangelista is maybe just plus 125 for 3 shots. Not bad. A little bit of a sprinkle. It's really all I would consider in this game. Josi will put on the card. Evangelista is a long shot with Connor Martinook. Forsberg, Ryan O'Reilly, Nyquist for points, plus 175. Worked out the other night. Plus 175 for those 3 guys. Miller and Brock for a point at plus 110. I think Nashville wins. My leans are Boston, Hurricanes in 60. Nashville, and I think the Jets. I think the Jets are going to find a way to squeak one out on home ice, crowd rocking. Got to have a strong game from Hellebuck. I think we'll see a push there from Winnipeg. They have been pretty good on home ice in this series and this season as well. So that's where I'm at. Let's recap here with your goal scorers, and I'll recap with a couple of my props and try to catch up with
quickly, I'll go my sides. I'll go Toronto, Carolina, Colorado, Nashville. Scorers are Nylander, Matthews if he plays, Tavares if he doesn't. Boston side, Pasta and Marchand, Gensel, Jarvis, Barzell, Nelson, McKinnon, Lehkonen, Connor, Monahan, Forsberg, Evangelista, Besser, and I think Pedersen gets one tonight if Vancouver can get going. He's just too good of a player to stay invisible like this. And I do have an interesting 4-way bet. If you put Bertuzzi plus 250, Nelson plus 310, Monahan plus 290, and Zucker plus 400 to score. I think it was $5 gives you like $2,000. So
nice.
I'm going to do that too because that's fun.
It is fun. Hit one of those and you're loving it. All right, pizza money, a little bit of a sprinkle. Toronto shot props are down; they're off the board, so that's another indication that Matthews is not going to play tonight. So we'll have some stuff over at FTN Fantasy in our Discord, and we'll have an article out here in a little bit over at ftnfantasy.com as well. But I'll be riding Nylander. I think I'm going to go Nylander, Tavares, and Marner. I may put all those guys in a parlay at just 3, tease them down, but I will take Nylander and Marner as singles. I'm locked into those guys, I do believe. We've been riding Domi at 1.5. I think if you see 1.5 at a reasonable price, he's in play as well. A lot of shot volume maybe from the Leafs with no Matthews. It's going to be tough for them without Auston Matthews, but some of these extra guys, some of these other guys are going to get leaned on a little bit more. Usage rate should be pretty high for Nylander, Tavares, and Marner, and then also the boost for Domi and Bertuzzi there. But on the other side, Pasternak and Marchand, Zaka for the point. In the Vancouver-Nashville game, I'm taking Josi at 3 shots. I'm taking Miller and Brock Besser for a point at plus 110. Forsberg, O'Reilly, and Nyquist for a point at plus 175. On the Carolina side, I don't have a whole lot. I like Aho and Gensel at minus 125 for a point. I got Matthew Barzell for 3 shots at plus 100. Sveshnikov to hit the score sheet at minus 150. Hurricanes in 60. And then this Avs game could be pretty fun. It's been an entertaining series. There's been a lot of offense, a lot of shot attempts. It's been fast paced. We got Lehkonen here for 3 shots at minus 114. You got Nichushkin at 3 shots at roughly minus 155. Probably it. I think Casey Middlestat for a point. I mean, it's been talked about. It's actually used a prop shop. I see plus 115 out there for Casey Middlestat point. It's not, I'm not totally interested in it, but I think it's good value. I got something drawn up here over at 365. It's Makar 3 shots, Connor 3, Lehkonen 3, Ehlers 3, Nichushkin 3, Rantanen 2, and McKinnon 4 at 16-1. If you wanted something a little bit more conservative, we could go Makar, Nichushkin, and Lehkonen for 3. We can bring down Connor and Ehlers for 2, and that's 5-1. And that's not even with McKinnon on the board. I mean, you could put McKinnon on the board for 3 if you wanted. It's a number that I think he can get to, and that would make it plus 575. So that's it. We went pretty long, but we had a lot of good talk there at the start. Whew.
30 something minutes of Maple Leaf stock.
It's what everyone
I don't need convincing.
It's what everyone wants. Everyone's here for it. All right. Good luck on the ice. We will talk to you guys on Thursday, and hopefully we have a couple more games to break down, maybe a couple game 6s or something like that, or maybe we'll be talking about what's next in Toronto for the Maple Leafs. So there it is. Guaranteed. He Mark Messier'd it. The Leafs will win Game 5 tonight at TD Garden Bank. I think so, in Boston. We're out. Peace. Have a good one. Cheers.